One of the things that I constantly hear is how unfair YouTube is. I don't think they are. I think they're so impartial, so fair. They just call strikes and balls just like a good umpire would. They don't pick sides. I don't see how anybody could think they do. They're just like mainstream corporate media, just like MSNBC, CNN, CBC, all just, practicing journalistic integrity, being impartial, being just telling the story like it is and letting the reader decide. So, in an homage to them, to kind of a hat tip to them, I thought I would cover the story that went a bit underreported last week. I know they were quite busy, so I'm going to do my best to do it and present it as corporate mainstream media would, and bring honor to YouTube and to ensure that it, stays on the channel. So last week, Florida's Department of Health, if you could call it that, I don't even know if they have real doctors there, issued its official government guidance on the new and improved and totally safe and effective COVID boosters. That's right. Now, in addition to doing the unthinkable and not recommending this life-saving treatment to anyone under 65, they are actually requiring the witch doctors that work in Florida to disclose all of the safety and efficacy concerns associated with the new boosters, like there's any. Come on, really? So this new guidance requires that these witch doctors tell or disclose the following to anyone who is thinking of taking this potentially life-saving medicine. First off, mRNA vaccines are associated with negative effectiveness. Can you believe it? You could be around negative people and that would cause negative effectiveness. Come on. Next, studies show that the vaccinated developed an increased risk for infection. Well, what studies would those be? You could be around other people and you would have an increased risk for infection. You could catch the cold that way. Next, the vaccines present a risk of subclinical and clinical myocarditis and other cardiovascular conditions for healthy people. Well, they don't mention unhealthy people. And you know what? You could have that from eating fat-laden foods as well. Just eating lard would cause those problems. Next, there is an unknown risk of adverse events with each additional dose. Unknown risk? Well, the moment you drive outside, there's an unknown risk. Voting for a Republican obviously is an unknown risk in Florida, isn't it? Elevated levels of spike protein persist in some people for an indefinite period of time. Well, that sounds pretty conclusive, no? Which increase health risk by an unknown amount. Back to that unknown word again. Just like what would happen if you voted for Trump. Well, actually, no, that we do know. The world would end. Anyway, it seems like not a lot of science here. The guidance also includes 2 pages of studies. Studies? Who's got time to read all that stuff? This is what we're here for, to inform people so they don't have to do the reading. Also, what about the amount of trees that were chopped down to print these studies? Have these folks never heard of climate change? Anyway, Florida, according to them, is following the science or has the evidence. Let's face it. We know. Need I say any more about Florida? They follow nor the science, nor have the evidence. All they do is just keep spouting nonsense constantly. Obviously, you need to come to people like myself, YouTube, mainstream corporate media to get the real story. Now, in case you wanted this report or you wanted to read what Florida has to say, in other words, print it out and use it for toilet paper, because essentially that's what it's worth, I put a link in the notes section for you. Anyway, I do appreciate you watching this. Don't worry about sending any money in. I'm sponsored by Pfizer, Moderna, so I'm really solid on that. This is nothing you have to worry about. And thankfully, because of that, I don't have to worry about doing a lot of, additional investigation into anything, because the good folks there are providing the information I need. Anyway, I do appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel. Continue to get this wise and sage advice and this unbiased reporting. You can follow me on Rumble as well, of course, the evil place. If you haven't subscribed yet to my locals, get on board with there. And you can also follow me on X, Twitter, whatever, the South African white supremacist platform. And I will see you next time. Take care.